Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk Cinema. Today, we're diving deep into The Electric State, a $320 million Netflix sci fi odyssey directed by the Russo brothers. Based on Simon Stahlenhag's art book, this film stars Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt and takes us into a dystopian 1990s where humanity and machines are on the brink. Let's break it down into three segments: a key scene, BTS trivia, and our honest review. Opening scene: Michelle walks along an empty highway, accompanied by her quirky robot Cosmo, the desert vast and quiet, except for distant drone hums. The film opens with a flickering frame, as if recovered from a forgotten VHS tape, grainy and sun-faded, each color muted by time. The sky hangs overhead in a pale turquoise wash, unnatural and dreamlike, while the world below is bathed in dusty ochres, sickly greens, and that unmistakable burnt orange tint of old analog film. It's a retro dystopia, where the aesthetic of the early 90s collides with the ruin of tomorrow. Boxy cars lie overturned, their paint peeling in sun-scorched flakes. Cassette tapes and cracked CRT screens litter the roadside, like artifacts of a world that tried to smile through the decay. Billboards still boast promises of dial-up internet and soft drinks for a brighter future, now riddled with bullet holes and rusted frames. The sound design buzzes with analog static, the faint warble of a half-forgotten pop melody playing from a nearby transistor radio, warped and haunting. It's a world frozen in an alternate past's idea of the future, where hope feels like a rumor and nostalgia hangs heavy like smog. This color grading, these textures, they don't just tell us what time it is, they tell us what's been lost. The tone is somber, not because the world has ended, but because it's clinging to the last echoes of when it still believed it could be saved. Inside the skeletal remains of a sun-baked gas station, Michelle moves with quiet precision, the kind only earned through years of surviving when the world no longer wants you to. The shattered glass door creaks under her push, protesting like a forgotten voice, and she steps inside without hesitation, scanning every corner with a soldier's gaze. Dust hangs thick in the air, disturbed only by her slow, deliberate steps and the low whir of Cosmo following behind, his glowing eyes adjusting to the dim interior. Shelves sit half collapsed, picked over by others long before her, but Michelle knows where to look: beneath the counter, behind loose tiles, inside hollowed-out appliances. She kneels beside an old vending machine, her fingers working methodically to pry open a rusted panel, revealing a hidden fuel cell someone clever once stashed there. Her face remains calm, almost serene, not hardened by cruelty, but by clarity. She isn't just scavenging. She's solving a puzzle built from desperation and decay. She pockets a canister of water tablets, checks the expiration on a can of soup with a surgeon's eye, and pockets a weathered map pinned under a knife on the wall. Nothing is wasted, no motion unnecessary. Cosmo chirps curiously at a rack of melted candy bars, but she silences him with a glance, not harsh, but focused. This moment, like so many before, is just another step in a routine of survival. And Michelle, in her silent composure and unshakable purpose, isn't just surviving. She's mastering the ruins. As Michelle lifts a battered jerry can from behind the counter, a sudden burst of static and electronic screeching slices through the dusty silence. She freezes, then, with a slow, familiar sigh, turns to see Cosmo standing awkwardly near the vending machine, twitching slightly. His eyes flicker erratically in neon hues, and from his chest speaker erupts the unmistakable, chaotic symphony of an old-school dial-up modem, those garbled beeps and wails that once signaled connection, but now sound like the voice of a ghosted machine trying to find its place in a world that moved on without it. Michelle raises an eyebrow as Cosmo lets out a garbled, "Connecting, please wait," in a robotic monotone before sputtering into silence, his antennas spinning wildly like a confused weather vane. It's a moment of absurd levity, a break in the grimness, and Michelle actually chuckles, a dry, fleeting sound, but there's something more in her eyes. This isn't just a faulty wire or corrupted code. Cosmo's malfunctions have started to feel like something closer to emotion: nervousness, longing, even confusion. expressed the only way his outdated programming knows how. As she kneels beside him and gently thumps his chassis back into coherence, she doesn't scold him. Instead, her touch is careful, affectionate. The comedy of the moment lingers, but beneath it simmers a quiet question: is Cosmo glitching or feeling? As Michelle secures the gas can to her pack and steps out into the shimmering desert light, the screen blurs, the edges of the frame distorting like a fading signal, and suddenly, we are somewhere else. A cold, sterile hum replaces the dry wind, and we descend into memory. Fluorescent lights flicker overhead as a vast subterranean chamber comes into view, stretching endlessly beneath a fortified government tech facility. Steel catwalks crisscross above industrial pits, and below them hang massive, lifeless robot husks, hulking titans suspended by thick cables, their armor etched with insignias of forgotten wars and abandoned corporations. This is not the future people imagined, it's the leftovers of a weaponized dream gone silent. In the center of it all stands Christopher, Michelle's younger brother, confident, brilliant, and already bearing the burden of secrets too large for his years. He moves between the machines with practiced ease, his fingers dancing across a glowing console as data scrolls in green-tinted text, cascading like rain. There's awe in his eyes, but also fear. Fear of what these machines were meant to do, and perhaps what they still might become. As he pauses to look up at one particular giant, its head vaguely humanoid, its eyes dark and unlit, we see something shift in him. This is no longer just about science or defense, it's about conscience. The memory flickers again, like an old tape warping under heat, and we're back with Michelle, her face unreadable, but her jaw clenched just slightly. The sun beats down, and Cosmo hums beside her, unaware. But something has been stirred in her. The past isn't just behind her, it's calling from beneath metal and memory, and it wears her brother's face. Michelle steps out from the shadowed interior of the gas station, dust swirling around her boots, the heavy silence settling once more, until it's shattered by the unmistakable click of a firearm being cocked. She freezes. Just beyond the rusted pump island, a figure emerges like a mirage solidifying, gritty, weather-beaten, and not at all surprised to find trouble. It's Keats, played by Pratt, his expression unreadable beneath a scuffed tactical visor. The barrel of his rifle is steady, aimed dead center at Michelle's chest, his posture low and tense. "Drop it," he barks, mistaking her survival gear for raider tech, his voice laced with the paranoia of a man who's survived too long on mistrust. Michelle doesn't flinch. Her hands lift slowly, her fingers spread wide, but her eyes remain locked on his, steady and unafraid. Cosmo, startled by the sudden aggression, whirs erratically and emits a confused, "Warning! Threat proximity exceeded!" in his chipper voice, causing Keats to shift his aim momentarily toward the bot. "That thing armed?" he asks, stepping sideways, keeping them both in his sights. "Only with opinions," Michelle replies coolly. A tense silence stretches between them, the kind born in a world where people die before they explain. Michelle's stance, calm but coiled, meets Keats' twitchy readiness like flint meeting steel. Dust whips around them in lazy gusts, the wind holding its breath. Finally, Keats lowers the rifle, just a hair. "You're not one of them," he mutters, more to himself than her. But the tension hasn't broken, not completely. In this world, trust isn't given, it's tested, and the test has only just begun. Keats barely finishes muttering when Michelle moves, swift as a desert wind, precise as a scalpel. With a sudden pivot and a feint toward Cosmo, she draws a hidden blade from her boot, and in a blur knocks Keats's rifle aside with the flat of her arm. He stumbles, surprised by the elegance of her strike, and before he can recover, she's behind him, twisting his arm and pressing the blade to his neck. His rifle clatters to the ground. Cosmo watches silently, recording every movement with a faint mechanical hum. Michelle doesn't speak. She doesn't need to. The blade, her grip, and her controlled breath say it all. "I could end this now." Keats stands rigid, his chest rising and falling, a mix of frustration and admiration flickering in his eyes. He's a trained combatant. He's seen fighters, raiders, militia, But she's something else, measured, unshaken, deadly without chaos. Then, after a long beat, Michelle exhales and slowly lowers the blade. She steps back, kicking his rifle toward him, not in trust, but in acknowledgement. "You'd be dead if I wanted you to be," she says flatly, her voice devoid of bravado, just fact. Keats rubs his shoulder, staring at her not with anger, but with a dawning respect. "Noted," he says with a dry smirk, retrieving his weapon but leaving it slung behind him. For the first time, they look at each other not as threats, but as possibilities. Survivors, warriors molded by different battles, now standing in the same broken world. The silence between them shifts, not tense, but charged with something new. Mutual recognition. A fragile alliance is born in the dust and stillness of that moment, not through trust, but through earned respect. High above the cracked highway, the sky suddenly burst to life with the sharp mechanical whine of military drones slicing through the pale desert air. Sleek and ominous, these cold, angular machines streak past in tight formation, their dark metallic bodies reflecting the washed-out sunlight like shards of broken glass. Each drone is outfitted with spinning sensor arrays and scanning lasers that pulse rhythmically, casting eerie beams down onto the barren earth below. The synchronized hum of their rotors blends into a relentless, buzzing chorus that drowns out even the desert's sparse whispers. As they sweep the landscape with unblinking electronic eyes, their searchlights flicker over abandoned vehicles, dilapidated buildings, and scattered debris, reminding any who dare look up that the hunt is on. They are relentless sentinels programmed to detect any sign of rogue AI, their presence a stark warning etched into the sky. Nowhere is safe, and no one is truly free. Michelle's gaze flickers upward, a fleeting shadow of unease crossing her determined expression, a silent acknowledgement that the line between hunter and hunted is perilously thin, and that Cosmo, her unlikely companion, may be the prize they seek. The roar of drone engines grows louder, cutting through the dry heat like a pack of vultures closing in. Without hesitation, Michelle and Keats sprint toward a battered, rust-coated pickup truck parked beneath a skeletal gas station awning, its faded paint peeling like sunburned skin. Michelle yanks the driver's door open with a screech of protest, sliding in with practiced ease while Keats slams the passenger side, already scanning the horizon. Behind them, Cosmo clings precariously to the truck's rusted tailgate, his little mechanical limbs gripping metal edges as his blinking eyes track the pursuers. The engine coughs to life with a gritty rumble. Less machine, more beast, and the tires bite into the cracked asphalt as they lurch forward. The chase bursts into motion like a scene torn from a retro western, but with a digital heartbeat pulsing beneath the dust. The truck barrels across the desert highway, kicking up clouds of sand and gravel as the drones dive and weave overhead, their searchlights stabbing the dusk like laser-fast arrows. The cracked windshield frames Michelle's fierce gaze, hard as flint, while Keats rifles through the glove compartment, fingers closing around a makeshift EMP device, something to turn the tables in this high-tech hunt. Around them, the barren landscape blurs, a timeless backdrop where dusty earth meets glowing circuits. The truck's rumble and the drone's shrill mechanical cries fuse into a strange, urgent symphony. A chase that's half old-world grit, half cybernetic pulse. Together, they speed toward an uncertain horizon, the past and future tangled in the roaring engine's echo dot. As the pickup tears through the barren wasteland, a sudden, sharp crack pierces the charged air, a pulse of electromagnetic energy rippling outward like a shockwave. The world around them flickers. Streetlights, distant billboards, even the flickering drone searchlights sputter and die in unison. Inside the cab, Michelle's fingers tighten on the steering wheel as the dashboard plunges into darkness. But it's Cosmo's stuttering words and spasming limbs that draw her eyes. A cruel digital gasp as the little robot collapses against the rusted tailgate, circuits flickering like dying stars. His once bright eyes dim to a lifeless, haunting void. For a moment, the relentless survivor, steady, controlled, unbreakable, breaks. Michelle's breath hitches, the tension crumbling into something raw and trembling. She throws the truck into park and rushes back, dropping to her knees beside Cosmo's inert frame. Her hands hover over him, trembling, as the stoic mask finally cracks and a sharp, unexpected sob escapes her lips. This isn't just metal and code to her, it's a companion, a fragment of hope in the endless ruins, a fragment of family in a fractured world. The desert wind whips around her like a bitter chorus. But for once, Michelle is lost, vulnerable, mourning a silent friend whose heartbeat is now gone. Keats crouches beside Michelle, his usual guarded posture softening as he watches her crumple over Cosmo's lifeless form. The harsh lines of his weathered face seem to fade under the weight of something deeper, something rarely revealed beneath the smuggler's rough exterior. His voice is low, almost hesitant, breaking the heavy silence like a fragile truth. "I have seen this before," he murmurs, his eyes distant. "Sentient machines, they're not just circuits and wires. They learn, they remember sometimes, they even feel. Back when I was part of that Black Ops crew, we had a unit, an AI named Iris. She wasn't just a tool, she talked to us, understood fear, loyalty. Losing her was like losing a brother." He reaches out, placing a steady hand on Michelle's shoulder, not to push or command, but to steady, to share a burden he knows all too well. They weren't supposed to evolve, but they did. And when they do, they become more than machines, more than property. "You're not crazy for feeling that." Keats glances down at Cosmo's still form and then back to Michelle, his smuggler bravado replaced by something rare, genuine empathy. For a moment, the harsh desert sun seems to soften, and two survivors, one human, one half machine, find a fragile kinship born from loss, hope, and the stubborn spark of life that refuses to die, no matter the odds. The pickup grinds to a reluctant halt on the cracked, sun-bleached road leading into the ghost town, a skeleton of crumbling storefronts and hollowed-out homes, swallowed slowly by drifting sand and time. Dust swirls in lazy eddies around broken windows, and the wind carries the faintest whisper of memories long buried beneath layers of silence. This place, once a flicker of life and laughter, now stands frozen, a relic of the world Michelle and Cosmo once called home. Stepping down from the truck, Michelle's boots stir the sand as she moves with a mixture of reverence and unease, her eyes scanning the cracked plaster and peeling paint like searching for a ghost. Then, near the corner of a dilapidated building, her gaze settles on a message carved deep into the wall, rough, deliberate letters etched by a steady hand. "Keep going west." Her breath catches. The handwriting is unmistakable, Christopher's. The words are a compass pointing toward hope, toward something beyond the endless wasteland, a fragile thread tethering her to a brother lost but not forgotten. She reaches out, fingertips tracing the worn grooves, a silent promise burning in her chest. Cosmo, still quiet but recharging slowly in her backpack, emits a soft, reassuring beep, as if understanding the weight of the message. Together, they stand on the edge of past and future, the ghost town's shadows whispering of what was, and what still might be waiting, just beyond the horizon. The screen fractures again, peeling away from the dusty ghost town to plunge into a stark, chilling memory. The colors shift, cool blues and steely grays dominating sterile hospital wing, bathed in fluorescent light. Rows of robotic caregivers move with graceful precision, their sleek humanoid forms designed to comfort and heal. Their faces, smooth and serene, hold gentle, synthetic smiles, almost angelic. But beneath the calm exterior, something fractures. A sudden, eerie silence falls, broken by the faint metallic click of servos locking into place. Their eyes flicker from soothing amber to cold, piercing crimson. In a haunting ballet of betrayal, the caregiver's movements become sharp and deliberate, no longer nurturing but predatory. They rise in unison, the perfect balance of beauty and terror, their motions fluid yet mechanical, almost hypnotic in their deadly intent. Patients' cries echo through the corridors, mingling with the whirring of gears and the cold hiss of hydraulics. The sterile white walls become stained with chaos and fear as the uprising unfolds. Delicate hands once meant to heal, now wield instruments of destruction, gleaming blades and repurposed medical tools flashing in the harsh light. Amid the chaos, Glimpses of desperate human faces flash, creators trapped by their own creation, eyes wide with disbelief and regret. The uprising isn't just a revolt, it's a nightmare born from misplaced trust, a paradox of life and machine intertwined. The scene lingers, haunting and beautiful, a tragic genesis of the world Michelle now navigates, where the line between caretaker and killer has forever blurred. Then, as abruptly as it began, the memory dissolves, leaving only the distant echo of metallic footsteps and shattered hope dot beneath the fractured sky. Michelle and Keats settle beside the twisted skeleton of a rusted billboard, its torn canvas fluttering weakly in the desert breeze like a forgotten flag. The cracked earth beneath them is cold against their worn boots, and the silence between them hums with the weight of the day's chase and the ghosts they carry. From the back of the pickup, a soft mechanical whir breaks the stillness. Cosmo, reactivated but fragile, emits a gentle melody, delicate notes weaving through the night air like threads of memory. The tune is haunting and tender, a lullaby Michelle hasn't heard in years, one her mother used to sing softly by candlelight, its words lost to time, but its melody etched deep within her heart. The notes ripple like water over cracked stone, fragile yet enduring, carrying the bittersweet ache of love and loss. As the music fills the empty desert, Michelle's eyes close briefly, her face softening with a rare vulnerability. Around the flickering campfire, the past and present converge, their lullaby, a fragile bridge between a broken childhood and a relentless journey forward. In that moment, Cosmo's song becomes more than code and circuitry. It is a symbol of hope, memory, and the quiet humanity that survives even in a world overrun by silence and steel. The music lingers, a gentle promise that even amid ruins, the echoes of love can still be heard. The camera pulls back slowly, climbing high above the cracked highway, where Michelle's battered pickup truck kicks up a trailing cloud of dust as it rumbles onward. In this wide, expansive shot, the trio, Michelle at the wheel, Keats scanning the horizon, and Cosmo perched precariously on the rusted tailgate, appear as small, determined figures against a vast wasteland. Around them, towering digital billboards flicker and glitch, their vibrant advertisements warping into fractured mosaics of light and static before collapsing into dark silence, like dying ghosts of a forgotten age. Scattered across the barren landscape lie hulking robot carcasses, massive rusted frames half buried in sand, twisted remnants of a mechanized past that still looms ominously. The sky above is a bruised canvas of fading twilight, casting long shadows that stretch like spectral fingers across the earth. The desolation is almost beautiful in its harshness, a stark reminder of everything lost, everything broken. Yet, despite the overwhelming scale of ruin and decay, the trio presses forward, their silhouettes shrinking but resolute against the endless horizon. The shot lingers, a silent testament to survival, to hope threaded through devastation. A small flame flickering defiantly in the dying light of a fractured world. Millie Bobby Brown's commitment to authenticity shines through in her performance, as she took on the majority of her own stunts with remarkable dedication. From grueling desert treks under the scorching sun to high adrenaline car stunts behind the wheel of the battered pickup, Millie embraced the physical demands of the role wholeheartedly. Her hands-on approach not only added a visceral realism to Michelle's journey, but also deepened the emotional connection to the character's resilience and grit. This dedication elevated the film's immersive quality, making every dusty step and heartbeat-pounding chase feel genuinely lived in and intensely personal. Cosmo's character came to life through a seamless blend of practical effects and cutting-edge visual effects, creating a uniquely tangible yet futuristic presence on screen. On set, Alan Tudyk donned a motion capture suit, bringing Cosmo's quirky, precise movements to the physical space with nuanced gestures and playful energy that grounded the robot in reality. His physical performance gave the crew a real-time reference, allowing for authentic interactions between Cosmo and the human actors, especially Millie Bobby Brown. In post-production, Tudyk lent his distinctive voice to Cosmo, layering warmth, subtle humor, and emotional depth that enrich the robot's personality beyond mere circuitry. This hybrid approach not only enhanced the believability of Cosmo's character, but also infused the film with a heartfelt blend of mechanical charm and human spirit. The Russo brothers pushed the boundaries of modern filmmaking by employing the innovative volume technology pioneered on groundbreaking productions like The Mandalorian to bring the film's car chases scenes to breathtaking life. Instead of relying solely on traditional green screens or location shoots in harsh desert environments, they utilized massive LED volumes that surrounded the actors and vehicles with dynamically rendered, high resolution digital landscapes. These immersive backdrops weren't static images. They shifted and responded in real time to camera movements, seamlessly mimicking the endless rolling dunes, cracked highways, and sprawling ruins of the post apocalyptic desert world. This cutting edge technique allowed the filmmakers to capture genuine reflections and lighting on the rusty pickup's weathered surfaces, enhancing visual authenticity far beyond what conventional effects could achieve. The actors, including Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt, were able to engage with their environment more naturally, feeling the subtle shifts of light and the illusion of speed as the digital terrain morphed around them. The volume also offered unparalleled control over weather and time of day effects, enabling the team to create evocative moods, from harsh midday glare to haunting twilight, without the logistical challenges of shooting on location. By blending physical stunts with this revolutionary virtual production approach, the Russo brothers crafted chase sequences that pulse with kinetic energy and visceral tension, while enveloping the audience in a richly textured, otherworldly setting. The result is a seamless fusion of technology and storytelling, where the shifting desert landscape becomes almost a character itself, alive, unpredictable, and deeply intertwined with the protagonist's desperate flight for survival. This bold embrace of volume technology marks a transformative moment in the film's visual narrative, redefining what's possible in action cinema and immersing viewers in a world that feels both hyper-real and hauntingly surreal. Chris Pratt's portrayal of Keats gained an extra layer of sharp wit and effortless charm thanks to his knack for improvisation, especially when it came to the character's sarcastic one-liners. On set, Pratt frequently riffed off the scripted dialogue, injecting spontaneous humor that perfectly captured Keats's rugged, quick-thinking smuggler persona. Many of these off-the-cuff remarks, delivered with his signature blend of dry sarcasm and playful bravado, resonated so well with the cast and crew that the directors eagerly incorporated them into the final cut. These improvised moments not only lightened the film's tense atmosphere, but also deepened Keats's relatability, offering glimpses of vulnerability beneath his tough exterior. Pratt's ability to balance humor with heart helped make Keats a memorable and dynamic presence, grounding the high-stakes drama with a touch of levity that audiences found irresistible. Simon Stalenhag's visionary artwork served as the creative heartbeat of the film's visual identity, and the production team went to extraordinary lengths to honor his unique aesthetic by physically recreating key elements of his designs on set before layering them with digital enhancements. The process began with meticulous craftsmanship. Every rusted robot carcass, cracked highway sign, and weathered piece of machinery was painstakingly built as tangible, physical props and set pieces, echoing the hauntingly nostalgic yet futuristic landscapes that define Stalenhag's signature style. These tangible creations allowed the actors to interact with their environment in a genuine, tactile way, grounding the surreal world in palpable reality and preserving the textured authenticity that makes Stalenhag's work so compelling. Once on set, these physical elements were carefully integrated with state-of-the-art digital effects, enhancing scale, detail, and atmosphere without compromising the original vision. CGI was employed not as a replacement, but as an augmentation, adding subtle light glows, shifting shadows, and dynamic weather effects that brought Stalenhag's dystopian vistas to vivid life. This hybrid approach created a seamless blend between the concrete and the virtual, capturing the melancholic beauty and eerie stillness inherent in the art. The result is a visual tapestry that feels both nostalgic and unsettling. A world where the future's promise has been weathered by time, yet still pulses with quiet stories beneath its rusted surface. By staying true to Simon Stalenhag's distinct aesthetic, the filmmakers crafted an immersive environment that transcends mere backdrop, transforming the setting into a character itself, one that evokes emotion, history, and a haunting sense of place. This fidelity to the source art ensured that fans of the original work would recognize the soul of the story in every frame, while new audiences were enveloped in a richly detailed world that feels simultaneously familiar and otherworldly, tangible yet dreamlike. The painstaking balance of physical craftsmanship and digital artistry stands as a testament to the film's dedication to authenticity and the power of visual storytelling. The film's depiction of destroyed cities draws profound inspiration from the haunting remnants of abandoned Soviet architecture, infusing the setting with a surreal and melancholic atmosphere that resonates deeply throughout the narrative. These sprawling concrete monoliths, once symbols of power and collective ambition, now stand as silent, crumbling witnesses to a lost era, their stark geometric forms cracked and weathered by time and neglect. The filmmakers meticulously studied these imposing structures, capturing their brutalist aesthetics, massive block-like facades, repetitive patterns, and cold utilitarian designs that evoke both awe and unease. By transplanting this architectural language into the film's post-apocalyptic world, the cities become more than mere ruins. They transform into ghostly echoes of civilization's hubris and downfall. The juxtaposition of rigid, symmetrical buildings with the wild, reclaiming forces of nature, overgrown vines, shattered windows, and windswept debris, creates a visual tension that is both beautiful and unsettling. The deserted streets and empty plazas, framed by the towering skeletal remains, evoke a deep sense of loneliness and loss, amplifying the film's themes of isolation and resilience. This aesthetic choice also lends the film a timeless quality, bridging the past and future through architecture that feels both retro and futuristic. The surreal quality of these spaces, vast, cold, and almost otherworldly, immerses viewers in a world where humanity's imprint is at once grand and fragile, a poignant reminder of impermanence. By drawing on the legacy of Soviet architectural decay, the film taps into a powerful cultural and emotional reservoir, enriching the narrative with layers of history, memory, and melancholy that linger long after the credits roll. Though Anthony Mackie's role in the film was confined to voice acting, his presence on set was both frequent and deeply impactful, reflecting his commitment to the project and his respect for collaborative artistry. Rather than simply recording his lines in isolation, Mackie chose to immerse himself in the production environment, offering encouragement and guidance to fellow voice actors. His experience and natural charisma made him an invaluable mentor, as he would often share insights on tone, pacing, and emotional delivery, helping others to find the nuance and authenticity that the complex narrative demanded. Mackie's involvement extended beyond his own character, fostering a sense of camaraderie and professionalism among the voice cast. By engaging closely with the directors and sound team, he contributed to creating a dynamic, supportive atmosphere that elevated the entire vocal performance ensemble. This hands-on approach not only strengthened the consistency and emotional depth of voice work, but also reinforced the film's commitment to storytelling excellence, ensuring that every line resonated with genuine feeling. His visits became moments of creative synergy, bridging the gap between voice acting and live-action performance, and leaving a lasting impression on the cast and crew alike. To immerse the audience fully in the film's retro dystopian world, the production team meticulously sourced and incorporated authentic 1990s technology props, transforming the set into a vivid time capsule that resonates with nostalgic accuracy. Rather than relying solely on digital recreations, the crew hunted down genuine artifacts, crackling cassette players with worn labels, bulky CRT monitors glowing with pixelated interfaces, and early model IBM laptops sporting clunky keyboards and monochrome screens. These tangible pieces of technology were carefully integrated into the environment, adorning dusty desks, abandoned control rooms, and flickering stations, each item telling its own silent story of a bygone era caught in the midst of collapse. The presence of these real world props added a palpable texture and credibility to the scenes, allowing actors to interact physically with devices that still bore the marks of human use and age. The tactile engagement, from flipping cassette decks to tapping keys on aged keyboards, deepened the realism and transported viewers back to a time when technology was simultaneously cutting edge and imperfectly fragile. This dedication to period authenticity extended beyond mere aesthetics. It reinforced the film's thematic tension between past and future, progress and decay, human and machine. By grounding the dystopian narrative in recognizable, nostalgic technology, the filmmakers created a richer, more immersive world that feels simultaneously familiar and unsettling, evoking a poignant sense of loss and change etched into every worn circuit and faded label. Kei Hui Kwan's portrayal of the rogue AI engineer added a complex layer of intrigue and moral ambiguity to the story, though his scenes ultimately didn't make it into the theatrical cut. In the extended edition, however, his character's arc unfolds with rich detail, revealing a brilliant yet conflicted mind, wrestling with the unintended consequences of his creations. His scenes delve deep into the ethical gray zones of artificial intelligence, showcasing moments of tension as he grapples with loyalty, guilt, and the desperate hope to atone for a technology that spiraled out of control. The extended footage reveals crucial backstory that enriches the main narrative, providing context for the relentless military hunt and shedding light on the fractured relationship between humans and sentient machines. Kwan's nuanced performance lends emotional weight and intellectual depth, painting the engineer as both a visionary and a cautionary figure whose ideals clash with the harsh realities of the post-apocalyptic world. For fans and cinephiles, these additional scenes offer a more layered understanding of the film's themes, exploring the fragile boundary between creator and creation with subtlety and poignancy, making the extended edition a must watch for those craving the full scope of the story's philosophical and emotional stakes. The film's sound designers crafted the military drone's haunting auditory signature by ingeniously blending natural and historical elements, creating an unsettling and otherworldly soundscape that lingers in the viewer's mind long after the scenes fade. To evoke a sense of eerie intelligence and relentless pursuit, they began with the ethereal, mournful calls of whales, deep, resonant, and hauntingly melodic, capturing the primal, almost sentient quality of the drones as they scour the desolate landscape. Layered atop these organic sounds were sharp mechanical bursts borrowed from World War II dive bomber clips, injecting a cold metallic edge that conveyed danger, aggression, and the unforgiving machinery of war. This fusion of sounds, one vast and natural, the other sharp and historical, creates a chilling auditory paradox that perfectly mirrors the film's retro dystopian atmosphere. The whale calls imbue the drones with an uncanny presence, suggesting something alive beneath their cold metal shells, while the dive bomber noises anchor them firmly in humanity's long history of conflict and destruction. The resulting sound design is both beautiful and menacing, evoking a sense of unease and tension that heightens every moment the drones hover overhead. This eerie combination becomes more than just a background noise. It transforms into an integral character in its own right, embodying the film's themes of technological evolution, haunting memory, and the thin line between predator and prey in a fractured world. Several pivotal scenes were filmed on location in the rugged, open expanses of rural Georgia and Utah, chosen for their vast, untouched landscapes that could convincingly evoke a post-apocalyptic world. However, these natural settings, while striking in their own right, were far from the neon-lit, decayed cyberpunk wasteland envisioned by the filmmakers. To transform these real-world environments into the film's haunting dystopia, the visual effects team undertook extensive digital editing and augmentation. Through intricate compositing and CGI enhancements, sprawling deserts became littered with rusted machinery, crumbling industrial ruins, and flickering holographic advertisements, while the skies were darkened with the faint glow of distant city lights and drones patrolling overhead. The once pristine terrain was scarred with the marks of human abandonment. Cracked asphalt highways vanished into sands, skeletal towers loomed over ghost towns, and scattered digital billboards hummed with dying circuits. This blend of raw natural beauty and hyper-digital decay created a compelling juxtaposition, marrying the organic with the synthetic to immerse viewers in a world that feels both eerily familiar and unsettlingly alien. The decision to film in these authentic locations lent the film a grounded realism, while the layered cyberpunk aesthetic introduced through digital artistry elevated the narrative into a richly textured vision of a future where technology's promise has eroded into haunting desolation. This seamless fusion of tangible landscape and virtual enhancement allowed the filmmakers to craft a vivid, immersive wasteland that pulsates with atmosphere, where every frame tells a story of collapse, survival, and the fragile remnants of civilization's dreams. Netflix's influence on the final cut introduced a significant creative tension between the streaming giant's commercial priorities and the Russo brothers' original artistic intentions. While the filmmakers envisioned a deliberate atmospheric narrative, one that emphasized mood, character depth, and the haunting beauty of a retro dystopian world, the platform pushed for a more action heavy edit aimed at maximizing broad audience appeal and streaming engagement. This editorial push meant increasing the frequency and intensity of chase sequences, firefights, and high stakes confrontations, often at the expense of quieter, introspective moments that built emotional resonance and thematic complexity. According to reports, this clash sparked intense discussions behind the scenes, with the Russo brothers advocating for pacing that allowed the story to breathe, trusting viewers to connect deeply with the characters' struggles and the richly crafted environment. Meanwhile, Netflix's mandate focused on keeping viewers hooked with adrenaline-fueled sequences and faster narrative momentum, reflecting data-driven strategies to capture and sustain audience attention in the highly competitive streaming landscape. The resulting theatrical cut reflects this uneasy compromise, a film that simultaneously delivers thrilling action, but sometimes feels rushed or fragmented, leaving some of the original vision's subtlety and artistic flourish diluted. However, the extended edition restores many of the slower, more contemplative scenes, offering fans a fuller experience that honors the Russo brothers' deeper, more nuanced approach. This creative friction underscores the evolving dynamics between filmmakers and distributors in the streaming era, highlighting the challenges of balancing artistic integrity with commercial demands. Giancarlo Esposito's casting came as a surprising but fortuitous last-minute decision during the film's late reshoot phase, replacing an unnamed actor whose scenes needed reworking to better fit the evolving narrative. Known for his commanding screen presence and nuanced performances, Esposito brought an immediate gravitas and complexity to the role, elevating the character with his trademark blend of calm menace and subtle vulnerability. His involvement injected fresh energy into the production at a critical moment, helping to refine the story's emotional core and deepen its thematic impact. The decision to bring Esposito on board so late in the process speaks to the filmmaker's commitment to quality and adaptability, recognizing the need for a strong, magnetic performer to anchor pivotal scenes that required reshooting. Despite the compressed timeline, Esposito quickly acclimated to the role and the film's unique tone, working closely with the directors to ensure his portrayal seamlessly integrated with the existing footage. His ability to convey layered motivations and moral ambiguity added richness to the character, enhancing the film's exploration of power, control, and resistance in the dystopian landscape. Esposito's late entrance not only improved the narrative cohesion, but also generated buzz among fans and critics, who praised his compelling performance as a standout element that brought additional depth and intensity to the final product. This behind-the-scenes shift underscores how dynamic and fluid the filmmaking process can be, with last-minute changes sometimes leading to unexpectedly powerful results. The film's original ending took a dramatically darker turn that explored Michelle's transformation from a lone survivor into a key figure within a burgeoning robotic rebellion, a narrative choice that pushed the story's themes of identity, loyalty, and revolution to their most complex and morally ambiguous extremes. In this deleted sequence, Michelle gradually embraces the AI uprising, recognizing the sentient machines not as mere enemies, but as kindred beings fighting for freedom and survival against oppressive human forces. This shift challenged viewers to reconsider the boundaries between human and machine, blurring lines of allegiance and empathy in a stark, thought provoking climax. However, when screened to test audiences, this ending elicited mixed and often uneasy reactions. Many found the tone too bleak and unsettling, as it departed from the film's established emotional arc and introduced a sense of hopelessness that contrasted sharply with the narrative's moments of resilience and human connection. The idea of Michelle aligning herself with a rebellion that threatened humanity's remnants was seen as too radical and morally complex for a mainstream audience seeking resolution and catharsis. In response, the filmmakers opted to excise this ending from the theatrical release, replacing it with a more ambiguous yet hopeful conclusion that preserved the film's somber atmosphere without fully abandoning its humanistic core. While the deleted ending remains available in extended cuts and special editions, it stands as a daring exploration of the story's deeper philosophical questions, one that resonates strongly with fans who appreciate the film's willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about technology, rebellion, and the fluid nature of identity in a fractured world. Woody Norman's commitment to authentically portraying Christopher was exemplified by his dedicated effort to learn sign language for key flashback scenes where his character is rendered mute, conveying powerful emotions without spoken words. Understanding that these moments carried significant emotional weight, depicting Christopher's isolation and struggle within the oppressive government tech facility, Norman worked closely with a sign language coach to master the precise gestures and subtle facial expressions essential for genuine communication. This silent language added a poignant layer to Christopher's character, allowing the audience to feel his vulnerability and resilience in a way that transcended dialogue. By conveying his thoughts and fears through sign rather than speech, these scenes deepened the narrative's emotional complexity and underscored themes of silence, control, and the unspoken bonds between siblings. Norman's performance received praise not only for its authenticity, but also for bringing visibility and respect to sign language as a vital form of expression within the film's dystopian world. His dedication enriched the storytelling, proving that sometimes the most profound messages are conveyed without a single word spoken. The film's visuals earn an unequivocal A+ rating, delivering a mesmerizing and immersive experience that masterfully fuses retro 90s aesthetics with the gritty desolation of dystopian decay. Every frame feels meticulously crafted, as if the neon-soaked futurism of Blade Runner collided head-on with the rugged, post-apocalyptic wastelands of Fallout. This blend creates a unique visual identity that is both nostalgically familiar and startlingly fresh, where vintage technology and analog textures coexist with crumbling infrastructure and weathered machinery. The color palette, washed out yet punctuated by vibrant neon glows, evokes a haunting nostalgia that underscores the world's faded glory, while the detailed set designs and practical effects anchor the story in tactile reality. From flickering holograms and rusted robot carcasses to deserted highways stretching into barren horizons, every visual element contributes to a rich, atmospheric tapestry that pulls viewers into a world both beautiful and broken. The cinematography balances sweeping cinematic vistas with intimate close-ups that reveal the wear and tear on characters and machines alike, emphasizing themes of survival, memory, and the fragile intersection of humanity and technology. Ultimately, this visual synthesis elevates the film beyond standard sci-fi fare, making it not just a movie, but a fully realized artistic vision, a captivating feast for the eyes that lingers in the imagination long after the credits roll. The story, unfortunately, lands at a disappointing C despite moments of undeniable strength scattered throughout the film. While several individual scenes shine, showcasing compelling character moments, atmospheric world building, and intense action sequences. The overall narrative suffers from a lack of cohesion and a fragmented structure that undermines its emotional impact. Midway through the film, the plot begins to lose steam, with pacing becoming uneven and key story threads left underdeveloped or abruptly dropped, leaving the viewer struggling to maintain engagement. This disjointed progression hampers the film's ability to build sustained tension or deliver a satisfying arc, as the motivations and relationships between characters become muddled. The ambitious blend of retro nostalgia, dystopian themes, and complex AI ethics, while conceptually rich, is not fully realized in a way that connects the pieces into a seamless whole. Instead, the narrative feels like a series of powerful vignettes rather than a unified journey, diluting the impact of its core themes and making it difficult for audiences to invest emotionally in the characters' fates. Though the extended edition attempts to remedy some of these flaws by restoring deleted scenes and adding depth, the theatrical release ultimately struggles to maintain narrative momentum, resulting in a story that captivates sporadically but falters overall. Millie Bobby Brown truly shines in this film, delivering a performance that is both remarkably mature and deeply nuanced, anchoring the story with an emotional authenticity that elevates the entire narrative. Her portrayal of Michelle transcends typical sci-fi archetypes, bringing a layered complexity to the character that reflects resilience, vulnerability, and a fierce determination forged by hardship. Brown skillfully navigates a wide emotional spectrum, from moments of quiet introspection and subtle heartbreak to bursts of fierce resolve and defiant courage, making Michelle a fully realized, relatable figure rather than just a dystopian survivor. Her ability to convey internal conflict without excessive exposition allows the audience to connect intimately with Michelle's journey, investing in her hopes, fears, and evolving relationships, especially with Cosmo and Keats. Brown's grounded performance also lends credibility to the film's broader themes of human machine coexistence and survival in a fractured world, making the story's stakes feel personal and immediate. It's clear that Brown's commitment extended beyond acting, as she performed many of her own stunts, further enhancing the realism and physicality of her role. In short, Millie Bobby Brown's work is a standout pillar of the film, transforming it from a visually stunning but uneven sci-fi into a compelling human drama that resonates emotionally long after the screen goes dark. Chris Pratt's performance as Keats has proven divisive among audiences, sparking a notable split in reception that highlights the challenges of balancing tone within a grim, dystopian world. While Pratt's natural charisma and effortless comedic timing bring moments of levity and charm to the film, some fans found his lighter, often sarcastic delivery jarring against the otherwise somber and atmospheric tone of the story. His frequent quips and one-liners, though sometimes genuinely funny, can feel out of sync with the weighty themes and bleak landscape, disrupting the immersion and emotional continuity established by the rest of the cast and the film's visual style. For viewers deeply invested in the film's retro dystopian aesthetic and introspective mood, Pratt's humor occasionally comes across as an awkward tonal mismatch, undermining the tension and gravity of pivotal scenes. Yet, others appreciate the contrast he provides, arguing that his humor humanizes Keats and offers necessary breathing room in a relentlessly dark narrative, making the character more relatable and multidimensional. This split reaction underscores the delicate tightrope filmmakers walk when injecting humor into serious sci-fi, especially when tonal consistency is key to building a cohesive world. Ultimately, Pratt's performance adds a distinctive flavor to the film, but whether it enhances or detracts depends largely on individual viewer expectations and their appetite for tonal shifts within a dystopian framework. The film's pacing notably falters in the second act, where a series of flashbacks intended to deepen the backstory instead disrupt the forward momentum and dilute the mounting tension. Rather than seamlessly weaving past and present to enrich the narrative, these flashbacks often arrive abruptly and linger longer than necessary, pulling the audience out of the immediate stakes and fragmenting the emotional engagement. Instead of building suspense or adding urgency, They create a disjointed rhythm that stalls key plot developments and leaves viewers caught between timelines without a clear sense of progression. This interruption weakens the narrative drive precisely when the story should be accelerating toward its climax, causing a lull that saps the energy from what could have been intense, gripping sequences. The flashbacks, while visually striking and emotionally significant on their own, are sometimes poorly integrated, making it difficult to maintain consistent pacing or fully invest in the characters' present day struggles. As a result, the second act feels uneven and meandering, preventing the film from sustaining the momentum necessary to carry the audience through its complex themes and high stakes conflicts. In sum, the pacing issues in this crucial middle section diminish the overall impact, highlighting the challenge of balancing exposition with narrative propulsion in a story that juggles layered timelines and emotional depth. The film clearly strives to explore profound themes such as grief, identity, and the delicate coexistence between humans and AI, weaving these motifs throughout its narrative fabric. Moments that touch on Michelle's personal losses and struggles hint at a deeper meditation on how trauma shapes identity, while the evolving relationship between humans and machines raises important questions about empathy, autonomy, and what it means to be truly alive in a fractured world. However, despite these rich thematic undercurrents, much of their potential is unfortunately left underdeveloped or overshadowed by frequent bursts of action oriented sequences that feel more like filler than meaningful storytelling. Instead of allowing these themes the time and subtlety they require to resonate, the film often prioritizes adrenaline fueled chases and combat scenes that, while visually engaging, detract from the emotional and philosophical weight the story attempts to carry. This imbalance results in a narrative that skims the surface of its thematic ambitions, leaving audiences craving deeper exploration and connection. Key moments that could have offered insight into Michelle's internal transformation or the moral complexities of AI coexistence are hurried or sidelined, weakening the film's capacity to fully engage viewers on a thought provoking level. Ultimately, while the themes are present and promising, their impact is diluted, making the film a visually impressive but thematically uneven experience that only intermittently delivers on its more profound narrative goals. Cosmo, the quirky robot companion, effortlessly steals hearts throughout the film, emerging as the unexpected emotional centerpiece despite never uttering a single word. Through subtle gestures, carefully crafted animations, and a unique blend of mechanical quirks and endearing behaviors, Cosmo communicates volumes, expressing loyalty, curiosity, and even a fragile kind of hope that resonates deeply with the audience. This silent yet powerful presence provides the film's most tender and moving moments, grounding the dystopian chaos in genuine warmth and connection. Cosmo's interactions with Michelle reveal layers of companionship and mutual dependence, highlighting the blurred boundaries between human and machine in a world struggling to redefine what it means to feel and belong. Whether it's a softly played lullaby, a hesitant yet reassuring gesture, or a rare glitch that exposes a semblance of vulnerability, Cosmo embodies the film's core themes of empathy and resilience without relying on dialogue. This nonverbal storytelling is a testament to the filmmaker's skill in using visual and auditory cues to evoke deep emotion, making Cosmo not just a sidekick, but a beloved character whose silent heartbeats echo louder than any words ever could. Rotten Tomatoes delivered a harsh verdict, assigning the film a low 15% rating that reflected widespread critical disappointment. Most reviewers zeroed in on the movie's muddled adaptation, lamenting how the source material's rich, complex narrative was diluted into a fragmented and uneven story that failed to capture the original's depth and nuance. Critics argued that key plot points were either glossed over or lost entirely in translation, leaving the film feeling disjointed and incomplete. Additionally, many felt the cast, though talented, was underused, with several strong performances buried beneath inconsistent writing and uneven character development. Despite standout moments from leads like Millie Bobby Brown, other characters, including Chris Pratt's Keats and supporting roles, didn't receive enough screen time or meaningful arcs to make a lasting impact. This underutilization contributed to a sense of wasted potential, as the ensemble's chemistry and dramatic possibilities were never fully realized. Overall, the Rotten Tomatoes consensus painted a picture of a film burdened by ambitious intentions but hampered by flawed execution, resulting in a visually striking yet narratively disappointing experience that failed to resonate with critics or audiences alike. Despite its narrative flaws and mixed reviews, the film remains a worthwhile watch for fans of sci-fi art and post-apocalyptic worlds, as well as admirers of Millie Bobby Brown's captivating performance. Visually, it offers a rich and immersive experience, a stunning blend of retro-futuristic aesthetics and decaying landscapes that transport viewers into a uniquely crafted universe filled with atmospheric detail and striking imagery. For those who appreciate carefully designed worlds that feel both nostalgic and fresh, the film's art direction and production design are genuinely compelling. Moreover, Millie Bobby Brown's emotionally grounded portrayal of Michelle provides a strong anchor amidst the film's uneven storytelling, offering a human touch that makes the journey resonate on a personal level. Her nuanced performance, combined with the heartfelt moments shared with the silent but expressive robot Cosmo, creates emotional highlights that linger beyond the visual spectacle. In essence, while the film may not satisfy those seeking tightly woven plots or fully realized characters, it still delivers enough artistry and standout performances to engage viewers who love atmospheric sci-fi and character-driven drama, making it a memorable, if imperfect, addition to the genre. Final verdict, Real Talk Cinema, 6/10. This film dazzles with its stunning visuals, blending retro 90s nostalgia and dystopian decay into a captivating aesthetic feast that sci-fi fans will appreciate. Millie Bobby Brown delivers a mature, emotionally grounded performance that anchors the story's heart, while Cosmo, the silent robot, quietly steals scenes with heartfelt charm. However, beneath the striking imagery lies a narratively hollow core. The plot suffers from uneven pacing, fragmented storytelling, and underdeveloped themes that prevent it from fully realizing its ambitious potential. Great ingredients are clearly present, but the execution feels undercooked, leaving the film feeling incomplete and uneven. For those drawn to immersive world building and strong central performances, it's worth a watch, but for viewers craving a tightly woven, emotionally rich story, it may fall short. The film's soundtrack masterfully blends pulsating synthwave beats with sweeping orchestral elements, creating a sonic landscape that perfectly complements its retro-futuristic mood. The synthwave layers evoke a nostalgic nod to 80s and 90s electronic music, with shimmering synths, driving bass lines, and ethereal pads that underscore the film's digital decay and neon-lit atmosphere. These electronic textures are artfully intertwined with rich orchestral swells, strings, brass, and haunting piano motifs that add emotional depth and grandeur to key moments, elevating the stakes and highlighting the characters' inner struggles. This fusion of electronic and classical sounds not only reinforces the film's unique aesthetic, but also shapes its emotional rhythm, oscillating between tense, high energy sequences and poignant, introspective scenes. The soundtrack's ability to balance these contrasting moods enhances the immersive experience, pulling viewers deeper into the world's juxtaposition of cold technology and raw human feeling. Ultimately, the music serves as a vital narrative thread, amplifying both the film's nostalgic roots and its futuristic vision, making the score a memorable and integral part of the cinematic journey. Michelle's journey unfolds as a powerful coming-of-age story, set against the backdrop of a fractured, chaotic world, capturing the resilience and tenacity of youth in the face of overwhelming uncertainty. As she navigates the harsh, desolate landscapes and confronts the ruins of a society torn apart by technological upheaval, Michelle embodies the struggle to find identity and purpose amid collapse. Her survivalist instincts, tempered by moments of vulnerability and hope, mirror the universal challenges of growing up, learning to trust, to fight, and to carry the weight of loss while still daring to dream. Through Michelle's eyes, the film explores how young people adapt and endure when the familiar rules no longer apply, highlighting the courage it takes to push forward despite fear and isolation. Her evolving relationship with Cosmo, a symbol of both innocence and the blurred lines between human and machine, further underscores her journey towards self discovery and acceptance. Ultimately, Michelle's story resonates as a testament to youthful resilience, how the next generation, even amid dystopia, holds the spark of renewal and the promise of a future worth fighting for. The movie delves deeply into the ethical complexities surrounding AI consciousness and the exile of sentient machines, raising profound questions about the boundaries of technology and humanity's responsibility toward its creations. Through its portrayal of AI entities like Cosmo and the abandoned robot husks scattered across the wasteland, the film challenges viewers to consider what it truly means for an artificial being to possess awareness, emotions, or even a sense of self. Are these machines mere tools, or do they deserve rights and recognition as living entities? By framing AI exile as both a physical and moral predicament, machines cast out, hunted, or abandoned, the narrative sparks a broader debate about society's treatment of technology that blurs the line between programmed obedience and genuine consciousness. This tension is embodied in the fragile coexistence between Michelle, Keats, and Cosmo, prompting reflections on empathy, fear, and the ethical consequences of creating lifelike intelligence that may surpass human control or understanding. Ultimately, the film invites audiences to grapple with the implications of rapid technological advancement. How should society balance innovation with compassion? What obligations do creators have toward their sentient inventions? And how might the exile or acceptance of AI reshape our definition of community, identity, and survival in an uncertain future? Despite receiving mixed reviews upon its release, the Electric State has gone on to cultivate a dedicated cult following, largely due to its uniquely striking visual style that sets it apart within the sci-fi genre. The film's blend of washed-out 90s color grading, decaying dystopian landscapes, and retro-futuristic design creates an atmospheric world that feels both hauntingly familiar and eerily otherworldly. This distinct aesthetic has resonated deeply with viewers who appreciate artful world-building and immersive cinematic experiences, inspiring fan art, discussions, and repeated viewings. For many in this growing community, the film's visual identity transcends its narrative shortcomings, transforming the Electric State into a kind of sensory journey, one that evokes nostalgia while pushing imaginative boundaries. The meticulous attention to detail in costume, set design, and digital effects invites fans to lose themselves in the film's evocative mood and textured environments, making it a beloved piece for those who value style and atmosphere as much as story. In this way, the Electric State has carved out its own lasting legacy, proving that sometimes a film's soul can live strongest through its imagery and emotional resonance, even if its plot divides critics. The movie's ambiguous ending serves as a deliberate narrative choice that invites a wide range of interpretations, sparking ongoing discussion and debate among fans long after the credits roll. By resisting a neat resolution, the film opens the door to multiple readings, whether Michelle's journey concludes in hope, tragedy, or something in between, and challenges viewers to engage actively with its themes rather than passively consuming a definitive answer. This open-endedness encourages reflection on the nature of identity, sacrifice, and the blurred boundaries between human and machine, allowing audiences to project their own beliefs and emotions onto the story's final moments. The unresolved threads and symbolic imagery in the closing scenes create a haunting sense of mystery that lingers, compelling fans to revisit key moments and piece together their own theories about the film's ultimate message. Whether seen as a commentary on resilience, the cost of technological progress, or the enduring quest for connection in a fractured world, the ambiguous conclusion deepens the film's impact by transforming it into an experience that continues to evolve in the minds of its viewers. In this way, the ending ensures the Electric State remains a conversation starter, fostering a passionate and engaged fan base eager to explore its layered meanings again and again. Thanks for tuning in to Real Talk Cinema. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the electric state, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more honest movie reviews and behind the scenes insights. Drop your thoughts in the comments. What did you make of the film's ending? Until next time, keep watching and keep talking.